Episode 19, up and running, 84 feet with Cady and Cap. I'm Brian Cady. That's Brian Capitula, the head coach of Albany Academy Girls Varsity Hoops, the current rating defending two-time Section 2 champions out of Class A. What's up, Cap? Missed you. I missed you for the Mike Long Jr. show. How you doing, pal?
Going good. Class B, but Class A this year, yes.
Oh, right. Yeah, whatever.
I understood what you meant, but
Right.
no, good. Everything's good. This is our last show as a teenager, so
That's right. Catholic Central is the Class A state champions. That was kind of dumb on my part. Sorry.
all good.
Yeah. Yeah. How you feeling, by the way? Because I know
Good.
you're under
Good.
the weather from all your travels.
Yeah, the travels, the plane never ends up good ever. You always end up some kind of sick. So finally kicked that over the weekend, and I think we're good to go for a little while now. It's August, so basketball is officially on vacation. It's August, so
This is your what? I mean, season never really ends. There's no such thing as really an off season for
no,
you, really.
still take calls and stuff like that, but in terms of in a gym or being like, I have basketballs right over here, but I'll go open a door and then I'll go. Like I won't stay around. So
yeah, you probably still take like recruiting calls and stuff like that. Yeah, no big deal. I gotta say real quick, I have been thoroughly enjoying the Olympics so far. As of this recording, we're recording this on Tuesday, August 6th. Women's soccer team got it done in extra time.
It was a heck of a save. That girl kicked it. That was like a reaction almost. She kicked the ball with her left foot.
Yeah, because she had the defender literally on her right hip, goalie's coming at her, and the only option she really had was a little flick of the foot.
Right.
And
Flipper got it.
God bless Sophia Smith and God bless America. That's what I gotta say to that. Hopefully we get Brazil and not Spain because Spain owns Emma Hayes, but that's another thing for another day. I'm sure the Schalmont Jr. about to join our show would have a little input on that because she's a soccer player as well. But anyways, yeah, we got a great pair of guests for this show right here, right now. A pair of Sabres from Schalmont. We have the head coach and we have a rising junior as well from the team. Both been around for a minute as they were also members of the 2022 New York State Class B champions. Or Class B. Yes.
Class B champ.
See, I got myself
state champion.
From the confusion. Yeah, I got state champions. I got that. Don't you worry. Jeez.
He actually wins the big game. I just get to the big game.
Oh, stop it. You're starting to sound like Chris Herron. Stop your crap. Yeah. We got Coach. We got Arianna Brandon. Coach, for the sake of everybody who flubs your name like the manager in the movie Rookie of the Year, be straight with us. Jeff
Van Hoesen.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Pretty straightforward.
Listen, I have family members who say Hoesen, and we have family members who have it wrong.
I remember, okay, that your state run in 22, and this I right hand to God on this, was the first time I had been announcing any games involving your squad. And I remember asking you bluntly, like, first game, I'm like, just tell me how it is.
Yeah.
Van Hoesen. Give it to me straight. Because I was getting different answers from anybody that I asked.
Yeah.
And because to me, just go straight to the source. Don't just guess.
That's it.
See? Now we all in agreement, and so are you out there. Van Hoesen. Done. That all being said, lady, gentlemen, how are we doing? How are we feeling? How's your summers?
It's been good. I'm feeling good, Happy to be here. Happy. Yeah.
Things are good. I never complain in the summer. It's basketball, golf, pickleball, slow mornings with coffee. So it's
we'll get to the pickleball later on because we had an interesting conversation about that earlier. But first thing I want to get to and get input from both of you on is a young lady that has been the hardest person for me to book for this show, going back to her coaching for a Havoc team of fifth graders this past summer, to then having summer workouts and going downstate and having a good time. And I can't get her damn schedule straight. You're one of your most recent graduates, Carissa Antoine. That girl is harder to book than the president of the United States. Number one, but secondly, Ari, I want to get your viewpoint first as a teammate. What Carissa meant to you, and and then Jeff, I'll have you follow up on what you think she meant to the program at large, and what you thought of her as well as a player. But Ari, I'll start with you.
Carissa, well, as you know, I started as an eighth grader. She's a very energized person. So when I started as an eighth grader, she was a very big role model to me. Being in the same program, we got along in different ways. She always hyped me up, and then she became like a big sister to me. Now, me and her talk on the daily. Um, she really helps me on like not even just the basketball side, but the mental side of basketball. Me and her talk daily about everything that just goes on, not inside or outside, like inside and outside life. But she really is just like a big sister, the best teammate and role model you could have. She brings the energy to the gym every single day. If you have a bad day at school, she'll be there to hype you up when we get to the court at practice. So she really just is that person for me. And yeah, that's really it for her.
Coach, you can go ahead and jump in with your thoughts as well.
This about Carissa. She's a better person than she is a basketball player. And she's a phenomenal basketball player. But she would bring everything Ari said to the table in the hallways at school. She was a positive leader. And I think sometimes we look at like emotional intelligence and how kids interact with each other. Carissa was always positive. It didn't matter if we were down by 20 against someone this past year or whatever the case may be. She was always positive and trying to hype everybody up and keep everyone together. And I think that's just one of her strongest attributes as an individual.
Yeah, no, there wasn't a day in the hallway where we would go by and she wouldn't scream my name and embarrass me in front of the whole entire school. But
yeah, she was always fun. She was never really fun to play against because you knew that there was 20 points coming, and it was just a matter of when it was going to happen. So there's nothing you can do about it. You just had to accept it. All right, she'll have 20 and figure out what's going to happen after that too. But so you obviously had a long season with high school basketball. High school soccer went super long into your basketball season. Then high school basketball ends, and then you go right into like your AAU season.
yeah.
How do you feel like in terms of from where you were even last like October, September to where you are now? Where do you feel like you're at, like physically, basketball wise, mentally wise? Are you in a good headspace? Are you a little bit tired now, or where are you at?
I'm in a good headspace now. Obviously, going from soccer, since it went so long, into basketball, I was a little bit mentally, physically tired going to that, but I had my teammates and Van Hoesen and all the assistant coaches to just pick me up, and I got the rest I needed after AAU now that it's over. And now I'm just getting back into the grind again of working and getting ready for this upcoming soccer season and basketball season. So.
And how did your season go overall? Like for you for AAU, did it help you a lot? Like, did you learn things that maybe you like add some new things to your bag, or did you learn anything new?
Yeah, no, definitely learn a lot of things this AAU season. I'm just ready for basketball. I can bring the things that I learned from AAU into our Schalmont program and just help these, because we're gonna have a younger team this year. I'm just build them up and get us all prepared, and definitely can bring these things that I learned over from AAU over to school.
Now, I do have a question for Coach, but there is actually a follow up I want to do quick since we're on the topic of AAU. One of your teammates this season was Haley Monroe from Northville, who just came up with a phenomenal junior season herself, helped Northville get all the way to the state title game in Class D. I mean, she's another one of those special talents that, after seeing what she did this year, I think is just suffering from the fact that she is at Northville and not at like a larger school and a bigger class that usually gets the press essentially. What were your thoughts about Haley as a player and as a teammate being on your squad?
Haley's an amazing player. Playing with her is like it's fun. It's very fun. The squad that I had this year, we all played together very well. And as a point guard, she knows how to run us. She knows how to get us into a play fast. She knows she has the IQ of a basketball player. So playing with her, it was fun. It was fun playing with her. And as a teammate, she was fun. She was cool. We all did stuff together. So it was pretty fun playing with her this year.
Now, Coach, just gonna kind of turn back the clock a little bit here. So you're a graduate of St. Rose. If my research is correct, class of 2000. Not the age you're at, I think just putting out there, class of 2000, right?
Yeah.
So two-part question. Number one, that's the same graduating class as Mike Perno and Sean Oregon. I mean, how does it feel to be the most dignified out of those three to come out of? I kid.
It's just so funny that comes full circle. Just going to school with Sean, and I didn't play there, but I had some classes with Sean because we're both obviously going to school to be teachers. So it's always cool to kind of, talk about that when we run into each other at camps or whatever the case may be. It's just unfortunate that the school's closing.
Yeah, that was the follow-up I was going to offer. Is what were your thoughts when you heard the announcement? And I mean, uh, what has been the general reaction from other alums that you've been talking to about it?
Just disappointment. It's, you guys know, for hoop, it's just a great school. It's a fun atmosphere. It was a nice campus, nice city campus. It's just unfortunate that it went down that way. I don't know the particulars, but obviously it came down to money and mismanaging money, I would imagine.
Sure.
But disappointing, but it'd be interesting to see who buys that building and uses that building for something.
Yeah.
Especially the athletic side of it.
Prep school, start a Van Hoesen prep there.
Yeah.
Now, Coach, obviously you're a teacher, as Brian said, in the school. But what made you want to be a coach at any level, whether it be, or what started you wanting to be a coach?
When I was younger, watching whether it was the NFL or college basketball or the NBA, I was always fascinated with piecing it together and the X's and O's and what went on to get to game day. And I personally love practice more than I love games. I love getting prepared and getting ourselves ready to go for an opponent. Open gyms, regular practice during the season. That's my favorite part about it. I love games, don't get me wrong, but getting prepared has always been my favorite part of the job. And when I was younger, I would sit and draw plays, football plays, basketball plays, and just kind of, that was my doodling, was coming up with plays all the way through high school, college. It's kind of what I would do.
Yeah, that was me too until I went 1-3 in my first season coaching AAU, and I was like, nope, you're taking over. Just you take that's where Mike Long Jr. came into play for me. But anyways, Ari, I just gotta ask you. You already discussed soccer, so you're a two-sport athlete. I mean, anytime somebody turns around, oh, she's on an honor roll. Oh, she's on another honor roll. Talk about the balance that goes into playing two sports, and then obviously when you've done AAU, that bleeds over into really any off time you would have had those last couple months of the school year. How are you able to balance that properly as far as making time for what you need to get done in the classroom as well as your commitments for soccer and basketball?
Well, obviously, school comes first for everything. But really, it's just school and then sports. But really, I just try to leave space in between to help myself recover from all the trainings I do and all the stuff I get myself to be better. I leave a little space in my schedule to recovering, let my body just recover from everything that I do. But honestly, during the school year, like I have my mentors that I talk to that help me. I go to Van Hoesen's classroom all the time. We talk. It's just, I have those people that help me and, all that stuff.
She's a great student. She's an awesome kid in class. Same as in, obviously the basketball court, but I was lucky to have her in sports history this year. So
Fun class.
Fun class.
Talk about a fake class there, Cap. Sports history. You hear that?
Sounds like that's that class at UNC.
Do they have? That's how I found out about it. It's a college course, and I had one of my administrators years ago tell me to come up with a class. I was like, "How's sports history?" He was like, "Awesome." He's like, "Do it." So we do top 10 lists, top 10 greatest point guards of all time, quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, it's a good class. It's a good class, especially on game days when you walk into the classroom, you see all the notes he's got up for all of us, getting prepared for the pregame. You're just looking at it. You're just like, oh, here we go. It's game day. It's game day in Van Hoesen's classroom.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
3 whiteboards. So there'll be class notes for U.S. history and then 2 boards that have notes on the opponent all over the place.
All right. Hang on. All right. Because you mentioned the top 10 list. So I have to ask, what's the worst inclusion into a top 10 list you've heard from a student?
I would say, well, I'll go away from sometimes kids will put Eli Manning as a top 10 quarterback of all time.
No, and I'm a Giants fan. No, sorry.
Yeah, and I always tell them at the beginning of the course, you have to take bias out of this. You have to pretend as if you're working for a network, and you have to make a legitimate argument. So
and sports began before 2000. So
yeah. And then the other one, I had a kid one time, we'll do, you have to come up with a roster, an NBA roster, 12 players, however your style of play of all time, then you pick a head coach and 2 assistants. And I had a kid one year, and he made a little bit of an argument for it, but he put Kyle Korver on his team. And he said, Kyle Korver is going to stretch the floor for my team. He's one of the best 3-point shooters of all time. And I said, agreed. In the regular season, he's unbelievable. But I looked at him and said, you're going to put him on the team over Reggie Miller or Ray Allen? And it became a little bit of an argument in class, but it was a fun argument. He put Kyle Korver on his squad of 12 NBA players you could pick throughout the history of the game.
That's rough.
Listen, I get it. He's a shooter. I get what he was trying to do. But I'm going Ray Allen or Reggie Miller in that case.
Right. All right, did you hear much about the Detroit Lions at all in the history class, sports history?
Yeah, the arguments were there during the sports history.
They have NFL championships. There hasn't been a Super Bowl yet, but it's coming soon.
When we got to that time where it was the playoffs, it was really getting hype in Van Hoesen's room. It was getting hyped up in there. It was hype. I'm
addicted to the Detroit Lions. It's bad.
You should see his classroom. He's got a little bit of Detroit in there. He's got a little bit.
Absolutely.
You got to love the coach's approach, though. So I think that was how everyone. That's how we were all coached, Brian. Like that. That's what we were. There was no fluff. It was like, this is what we're doing today, and there was no questions back. Like, okay, well, can we do this instead? If you ask this instead led to like 30 laps around the building. So
I love Dan Campbell. I love his whole approach. It's fun to watch.
Great guy.
Why the Lions? Where does that come from?
So I'll give you the fastest version I can. My father, Mike Van Hoesen, when he was a kid, he was watching Saturday baseball on whatever channel it was on back in the day. And it was the Tigers against the Yankees. And you have Mickey Mantle and you have Al Kaline. Al Kaline hits a double in the gap. The Tigers end up winning. He makes an unbelievable catch in the outfield. And my father decided at that point, however old he was, that he was going to like all Detroit teams. And I would have been kicked out of the house if I didn't like all Detroit teams as a kid.
So that means, hold on, let's go through this then. So the Tigers haven't won a title since
84.
Hold on, let me think about this. They didn't win in the 2000s with Maglio and Miguel. So that's been what, 84?
84. Trammell, Whitaker. Nope.
Lions, they haven't. Well, we already discovered that. The Pistons, So Rip, Chauncey, that
Yeah.
whole team. Okay, Ben Wallace, right? Okay.
The Lakers.
Red Wings, you had good '90s for the Red
Yep.
Wings.
Yep.
But oh man, gosh, that's
I'm
like somebody. That's
I'm
like somebody who's a Mets, Knicks, Jets, Rangers fan. It's pretty much the equivalent.
It
Yeah.
is. I just live in upstate New York. So that's what makes it crazy. And listen,
Ari, what are we gonna do with him? What are we gonna do with him, Ari?
I don't even know.
Ah.
You know,
Cap-
if Michaela was here, she'd be the one to make a joke on him right now, say something funny about him.
yeah, I'm an easy target. I'm an easy target with those things.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet, but go ahead, Cap. Go ahead.
Good stuff. Now, all right. In terms of now, obviously, you started at the team as an 8th grader, and you come in and success is pretty quickly which usually doesn't happen too quickly. You're able to kind of sit there and watch everyone else in front of you. How important do you think that was? Like at this point, where you are with your high school career and your basketball career, like being able to have the players that were in front of you and be able to just watch them. Like how they handled business and how they went about everything at practices.
Yeah, being at practice with them, it was definitely a battle every single practice. Like it was as soon as we stepped in the gym, it was like no joke, it's time to work. Like we have goals. So playing with like Haley Burchart, Peyton Graber, Carissa, and all of them, like being just on the court with all of them, it helped me like now as a player now just see you have to work for the goals you want, and you can get there, but you have to work at practice, and you just have to work for it. And they really were role models for me my 8th grade year, just as a player.
And then, Coach, what was it like coaching like kids like that? I think, and I have some of those kids now, but you had a lot of self starters. Like it didn't really take a lot of like push from you. What is it like to like coach a team where the leader can kind of be a player?
Those are the best teams, where the kids can kind of take your message. And, Ari was named the captain this spring, and she knows that responsibility is that she's an extension of the coaching staff. And that really started where Peyton and Haley, they would kind of take the bull by the horns and they would jump in, and they would, our practices would be really, really tough, and they would be on kids in a really good way. And I think that was part of the plan for Ari. When Ari walked in the gym that summer and she started shooting around, and I always tell her this story. She's shooting around, and Peyton Graber is lacing up her sneakers. And Peyton looks at me, as only Peyton can, like points at Ari like, this kid going to be on our team? And I just kind of nod my head. I'm like, pump the brakes. Let's see how she does. And she came in and she was competing, and she wasn't scared to compete. Now, she didn't talk for 2 months. That was a whole nother situation. I don't think she said one word for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But that was the plan all along. And I got to give credit to Ari's parents, because, they knew she wasn't going to play a ton. She was going to get minutes. She was going to be part of the mix, and she was. But my philosophy is if you can bring a kid up and they can practice with us, know our system, play against older and better kids, then it's going to benefit them in the long run. And to Ari's credit, Ari has gotten better every single year. The other night at our open gym game, or our game at Mahonison for Summer League, she comes in and you can tell she is up another level from last year.
Sure.
And she's done that since 8th grade, just on the uptick every single year.
So does this mean Ari was intimidated by Peyton Graber and Haley Burchard and a 6-footer that's 2 years ahead of her? Like, oh, hi, how are you? Like, that's not intimidating at all.
A little bit. I was the walk over from the middle school to the high school, I was shaking a little bit on the first day of practice. I was like, oh God, I was a little scared, but they're fun people. Even though I didn't talk that much, but they're fun people. They're fun people to listen to and be with.
Listen, it's okay. That whole Graber family is intimidating to me, so it's all right. It's not a problem.
Well, they had Sienna too. Sienna was the big piece of that team too. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Sienna was like the biggest person on that team. The one her and Michaela were the people that if I were to talk, they would get it out of me, especially Sienna. being a senior, she was definitely one of my biggest role models on that team.
I'll give you a Sienna story since you brought the name up. It was the semifinals that year of the sectional tournament, and we played Ichabod. And Sienna, she had the flu. She had something. I don't want to say COVID or all that. She was not well. And it was her best game of the year. She hit 4 threes in that game, and she would come out of the game, run to the locker room, and she would throw up and she'd come back out. It was like, I haven't told the story very often, but it was just an unbelievable performance. And it almost got to the point when we were going through that run, we shut down a couple times. We didn't practice for like 2 or 3 days at one point because we had so many kids getting sick that we're like, keep everybody away from each other and rest so that we have everybody when we actually play these games in the regionals.
I just muted myself when I was trying to unmute myself. That's smart. It's funny that we've been bringing up Haley and Sienna in this, because when I look back at that team, obviously Peyton Graber's Peyton Graber. She was gonna get hers, obviously. Carissa, it's hard to defend a 6-footer, plain and simple. But for me, the two biggest cogs of that wheel, I mean, Haley, I mean, she could do her thing offensively, but her defensively was like another level. You just put her on the point guard or whoever was going to be most likely with the ball on the perimeter, locked out. Like you could rely on that 100%. And then Sienna, I feel like she had some big threes, and you mentioned the Ichabod game. I felt like she was a big shot getter that entire run in 22.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I want to say she had like 1 or 2 shots even in the semifinal game, the state semifinal game, if I remember correctly.
She opened up the scoring in the state championship game. Sienna was arguably, if we had a 3-point shooting contest with that team, Sienna could have won it several times. She was that good of a shooter. She really was. And Gianna Cirillo was a 9th grader on that team and starting, and she would defend some of the other team's best players, and she just hustled all over the place. So we had and then we had Ari coming off the bench and Michaela Frank coming off the bench, and they would come in and play good minutes. And I think it was the regional final. Carissa and Peyton both had 3 fouls going into halftime, and they both were out of the game. And Ari and Michaela were in the game for basically the first half, keeping everything afloat. I think we were up by like 6 or something like that at halftime, and they did a great job of playing their roles. And we always talk about being an all-star in your role, and roles change every year. But man, that team, everyone was a piece to the puzzle and knew what they had to do.
Yeah, that was the Saranac game. Then you guys end up taking care of things in the second half.
Yep.
You mentioned the a couple of names there. The one I want to focus on is Gianna, because, and or you can chime in on this as well. It's just, how should I put this? She's not the most assuming physically out there, but she certainly knows how to get the job done out there on the court. And it's like a soccer body, but she plays the game just so well. And the development she's had just in the last couple of years has been quite amazing to see, honestly.
Yeah, she is one of those kids that just, her motor does not turn off ever. She could play all 32 minutes and she's going to look the same in minute 32 that she looked in the first 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, no, Gianna on game mode she's a whole different person. She's crazy. Let's just say that on the court. I'm just like, one minute you'll see her there, and then the next minute she's all the way at the other side of the court, and you're like, Gianna, where'd you just come from? You're just over there. She's she's a competitor, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
She doesn't like to lose. Who does like to lose? But she definitely is a competitor for sure.
And I think the thing with G2 is probably if she really made basketball her main sport and not, I mean, she comes in a lot of the times And I'm sure, Coach, you like it's soccer, like, and she comes right into the soccer field and she's able to knock down 3-4 threes a night. Like, I think if she switched and was like, all right, I think I'm playing basketball, I think you would have just even seen even more than a progression that she already is with being able to play both sports. So
Absolutely.
she's always fun to game plan against because you're like, don't leave her open. She's gonna shoot it. She's gonna make it. Like she's such a good shooter for for you guys. So
if she misses an open shot, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm getting with Ari. When Ari puts up an open shot, if it doesn't go in, I'm like, that's interesting. I can't believe it.
Yeah, practice we would just tell him because he would be like, oh, that's it, and then it would like bounce out and be like, Van Hoesen, just don't say it. Just don't say it.
I think so.
Yeah. But no, Gianna's definitely a competitor on the court.
Now, before I go to the future stuff, so obviously you guys win the state championship. 2022, you guys win the state championship. 21 is like the COVID year, so everyone kind of plays like 10 games, maybe 11 games. I think you guys got shut down at some point, so you may have even played less.
Yeah.
At what point, do you know that year that, hey, next year is going to be a special year? Do you feel it? Are the kids just aching for more basketball at that point, or is it just something all of a sudden you're like, this team might be able to compete next year?
I think we not to be cliche, but we legitimately took that year where I think we played 7 or 8 games because I ended up getting COVID, and we really just focused on getting better, get better for next year through all these games. And then once we went into the next season, it was just focus on the game in front of us. We had our goals. We wanted to win the sectional championship. And then we said, once we get there, we'll see what happens afterwards. But those kids were chomping at the bit to get into that 2022 season. I mean, they were ready to go for sure.
And your only loss is Colony that year, right?
Yeah, we lost to Colony, I think by 6 or 7.
Yeah.
At Colony, game 4 or 5 of the season. And I think that game was great for us. It was great because it showed us what could happen if we weren't all on the same page or we just didn't get things done. It was a perfect loss for us if there is a perfect loss.
Sure.
If anything, it just made the team work harder. It definitely made everyone mad. For someone that just observed and didn't talk too much, that bus ride home was not a fun one. Let's just say that. It was silent.
It was right before Christmas, I believe, and that locker room was just pin drop. It was. I remember coming out, and James Allen was there, and it was just he's just looking at me. I'm like, man, that could help us. That could help us in the long run.
Wait, you're saying Peyton Graber didn't take losing very well? No.
Oh, stop, right?
No. Stop it. I'm not going to try to get mushy, but it might make you mushy when I bring this up, Coach. So one thing we didn't touch on, like I mentioned, you went to St. Rose, but one thing I didn't touch on before that is that you're also a Schalmont grad. So for you personally, what's the sense of pride, joy that you get out of the fact that you were able to come on the other side of St. Rose, come back home, for the lack of a better phrase, and be able to be a part of that Schalmont community, whether it be as a teacher, obviously, as a coach, and just being a part of that area for as much as you have been. What has that meant to you personally?
And I absolutely love this place. This is home. I live 4 minutes away from the school. Growing up here, I've got so many great memories, and then to have the success that we've had and get messages from kids and people that I went to high school with who are like, oh, we're so proud of you, and this is great, and this is great for the school, and we didn't think this would ever happen at our school. And you can't really put it into words. It wouldn't feel the same if it was at any other school. And I always say how lucky I am to be able to teach in the school that I attended and still be a part of this community. I absolutely love it. I do not take it for granted at all.
All right, what and I know we'll get into what coach does on the side on top of being a coach too and being a teacher at some point, and Brian will probably bring it up. But what are your practices like? Is it a quiet gym? Is it a fun obviously Carissa was there, so there's no way that there wasn't bouncing around and all the other stuff going on. But what is your normal practice gym like when you guys go to practice?
Practice, it's obviously we're coming off either like a stressful day at school or something's going on at school. But once we get in that gym, it's time to work. We have our fun, but we don't want to be serious at the same time. We crack jokes here and there. We got the funniest person in section 2, Michaela Frank, at our practices. So she definitely makes us laugh. But we know when to lock in and get ready because it's just, we're preparing for our games and stuff like that. But the energy was always there. And it was always even if you had a bad day at school, you're always okay, I get to see basically my family. Like I'm ready to have fun. I'm ready to practice. I'm ready. I'm just ready to go.
Now, is there a playlist playing, or is there no music or anything?
There's music. Right. If we do have some bad times, we do get our music privileges taken away, but that just makes our practices go harder and make us work harder because the music definitely gets us pumped up and stuff like that. So.
And as the captain this year, do you get the aux? Are you in charge of the aux now? That's a big.
Get the aux. I am so excited to make the playlist this year. I'm so excited for it. I'm gonna get everyone's input on that, and I get to choose the team sneakers too. So I'm excited for that too. So.
Big decisions.
big decisions. A run out song and all. So excited.
You have the best comedian in section 2, and apparently you have the best interior decorator for a mother in section 2 with the flowers and the frame behind you.
Yeah, I know, right?
The Brandon household is where we go for the best team dinners, man. You go down there, you're getting chicken cutlet, you're getting and Ari's literally a 2-minute walk down the road from me. So my wife and I will walk down for team dinners if it's not too cold.
So Ari, I guess your doors are always locked.
Hey, Ari, let him know. I showed up on Thanksgiving one year.
Oh yeah, he did. He literally rang the doorbell. I'm looking. I'm with my cousin. She goes to Mohan. Izzy Clue. We're looking. And I'm like, who's at the door? And all of a sudden, I see Van Hoesen. I'm like, Van Hoesen's here. I was like, what? Yeah, and he hung out with us for a little bit. Yeah.
That just opens up a whole new line of questioning what you just said. Totally unrelated to coach. So you have a cousin who goes to Mohan, Schalmont, Mohan, just a little rivalry, I'm assuming, just slightly.
Just a little.
Yeah, and kind of weird at all? No?
Me and her, so we played soccer together for a while, but when it came to school sports and playing against each other, we definitely get into little fights here and there. After the games, and we'll send clips to each other and make fun of each other. And when we watch film, it's a fun one. It's a fun one with her.
And coach, I just wanted to bring up one other thing real quick about the school in general. Your principal, Mr. Heckman, he's taken over duties, run the middle school as well. What does he provide for the community as the academic leader, so to speak, in the school? What's he been able to provide from a leadership perspective, and how do you view him as taking on that extra little bit of a role there as going to be running the middle school now?
Yeah, we have a great team of administrators. Nicole Martin, Matt Heckman, Kathleen Russell is our AD. They support sports and really make sure we have everything we need. I don't think I've ever put anything into a budget and they've said no. They always have an open door to go in and discuss what's going on either with the team or in the classroom. We have a great school culture, great school community, and it really starts with them. Superintendent Tom Reardon is phenomenal. So it's just a great atmosphere. I love going to work, and I always kind of joke with people and say, I can retire in 8 years, but I'm not wishing those 8 years away. I love walking in with my coffee in the morning and seeing everybody. And as much as I love summer, in a couple of weeks, I'll be ready to go back to work and start the school year. I love the school year when we go back in the fall.
Definitely a fun one. Yeah,
Oh.
Heckman and Martin, they're fun. They're fun. They're fun ones. The principals, they go out of their way to have a conversation with you on game days. Whenever they'll definitely make you late to class sometimes, and I'm like, you gotta walk me to class now. I can't be walking in late now. But they're fun. They're fun principal and vice principal.
Now, just touching on this season for you guys, and just how it started, because it started kind of a little bit weird, I think, with some injuries from. You had a few players with injury. Ari got injured in our game, unfortunately, and then Carissa got injured with her foot early on. But so you guys started. I think you started maybe 1-5, 1-4, whatever it might have been.
Yeah.
Like, what approach? Like, you can go first, but what approach do you take? Like, when your team's struggling at that point, like knowing, like, hey, we don't have our whole team back. We're gonna figure it out once they come back. But you've always done a great job. You did this year, last year, you did an incredible job. Like when teams went on a little bit of a run. But what do you do? Like, what's your approach when the team starts to struggle?
I think it's just to keep it simple and make sure that we're constantly instilling confidence in the kids. And again, everyone's got to, roles adjust when something like that happens. You can't replace a Carissa, but then you have to switch the roles. And if everyone starts to understand their role and we keep it simple as a coaching staff, then I think we can start to improve. And Brian, you know this, like sometimes you can't evaluate your team on wins and losses. You have to look, say, okay, we're getting better defensively or we're running our sets better. And I try to approach it that way because if you're in this business and it's wins and losses all the time, that's going to drive you absolutely crazy. It's just breaking down the fundamentals, getting the team in the right spot, and seeing what happens when we get into the games. But you can always measure that growth and just continue to work hard no matter what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah, no, definitely agree on that. When everybody steps into their roles, when Carissa went out this year, we're all like a little shaken up at first. We're like, oh God, what are you gonna do? Like, whatever. But we definitely had players like Natalia Devine who stepped up. She came into her role. She worked for the rebounds that Carissa usually would get. She's athletic, so she got those big rebounds that we needed. Maddie Hines, she stepped up and helped a lot and get those boards and box out. So those two really stepped up and helped us a lot when we didn't have Carissa.
I think you also have to kind of look at it as glass half full because it gave other kids more opportunities for court time.
Right.
And now we can look at that when we go into this season and say, all right, we did some really good things when Carissa was out. Now we have to build on those things and continue to improve.
All right, we got to hit on a couple of things that have happened over the last month or so with Ari. Number one, I hear the roads in Rotterdam are less safe now because somebody passed the permit test.
Yeah.
So, Coach, be careful out there. Don't drive towards that house too much over the next few months.
I'm gonna go way.
So how much practice have we gotten in? Have we done our 3-point turns? Have we done our parallel parking?
Yes, I've actually driven almost every day since I've got my permit. I love driving. It's fun. It's really fun. I'll actually be driving with a driver's license by midway through basketball season. So I'll be driving then, but it's fun. It's a fun one. I've been practicing my 3-point turns and parallel parking a little bit, but
there you go.
It's fun.
So Schalmont High School parking lot, look out around January or February. The second thing that I want to bring up was actually about a week or two ago. There was an outdoor event. I think it was called the Big G Classic, if I remember correctly. And there was some names playing there. There was Azera Gates from Albany High, Sophia Bologna, who's now leaving Section 2, but she was there. I think I saw Eldior Dobert was there, Akari Gaddy. Like, there was some, like, really known Section 2 names playing out there. What was it like for you to, for one thing, play outside instead of in a stuffy, hot gym like you had in AAU for 3 months? And then secondly, just the talent that was around you when you were playing in that event not too long ago.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was competitive. It definitely was. We don't want to lose. We don't want to lose to them, but it was fun. We all like know the way of basketball. So obviously some of us play AAU together too. So it wasn't hard to adjust to play together. it was like just off the fly, just knew what to do, knew how to read each other. It was a fun game. It was fun.
Now, Coach, I guess this is a question that is coming up like more often because it just is like things are changing in sports where parents have a bigger voice and everything like that. But being at a public school and being like, how do you like your time that you've been there? Where like have you seen a big difference in jump of parents, whether it be players that they think should be playing that aren't playing, the concerns about playing time and things like that? Like, how do you approach that stuff? Like when that pops up?
I think the best thing to do is at the start of the season, and I tell the kids this all the time, if you're not sure what your role is, come up and talk to me. And my first communication is always with the kids. And Ari sees this, like I pull kids aside individually when we're warming up, like, we'll have 10, 15 minutes on the clock before we officially start practice. And I'll tell kids like, hey, tomorrow night we're playing Voorheesville, and our matchups, you're not going to start tomorrow because of the matchup. It's not that you didn't do anything wrong. Sure. Just think so-and-so should be in there because we need more height or we need more speed or whatever the case may be. So for me, it starts with the kids, because in my mind, when kids get out of high school, they're going to have to go talk to their professor in college, or if they go right into the workforce, you got to go talk to your boss. So they need to communicate with me. And then if they want to relay that message to their parents, this is what Coach Van Hoesen said. This is what we're going to be doing. And we always talk about buy-in. You got to buy into that role. So we're going to put who we think puts us in the best spot to be successful. Sometimes that changes depending on performance, but I always think it's good to have competition within the program.
Yep.
As long as we can bring everything together and everyone's on the same page trying to be successful, then it'll work out.
All right, I'm going to excessively flatter Ari here for a quick second, because I know this probably didn't come as a surprise to Coach, but this might have shocked a few people. So I know it's a little small. I'll explain it. For those of you who are on Spotify, especially, I will explain it because you obviously can't see if you can only hear. So this is the list of all-stars from the Colonial Council girls basketball season that just happened. And you'll see highlighted in yellow for those of you on the YouTubes, a certain person listed in the second team All-Stars named Arianna Brandon. Now, the way I want to flatter her is I'm going to name off the names, certain names, that were on the third team or honorable mention that she beat out to be on the second team. Sophia Bologna, El Dior Dober, Eva Gito, Peyton Whipple, Liana Williams, Ella DeBacco, Morgan Brewer, Gianna Cirilla, Gianna Savaka. Just, no big deal at all. Just whatever. How much did that come up as a surprise to you, Ari? Like, I mean, you're going up there and doing whatever you can do. So obviously you're not thinking about stuff like that when you're playing. But after the fact, when you got the selection as a second team All-Star for the conference, I mean, how much did that blow you away when that you got named for that?
It definitely blew me away because El Dior, Soph, they're great players. They're really good players. It was just like, I just had to take a moment. I was like, wow, like I really must have proved something this year to the people in Section 2 and just people in general. But it just kind of made me like want to work harder to make the first team next year and just keep working hard, and it just made me feel like all my hard work is paying off in some way.
And Coach, like, I mean, I said to you was probably no shock because you've been able to see the work that Ari's been putting in, but just the fact that she was named, let alone the second team, I mean, that's got to be a huge credit in your mind to the work that she had been putting in the last few years.
Absolutely. I was, I'm so proud of all my players, but it was special to see Ari make that jump from really where she started as an eighth grader. And again, I said it earlier, every year she's kind of gone up another level in her game. So I know she has individual goals, and I'm excited to see what she has. I'm happy I have her for 2 more years here, So
All right. So let's get into a couple of things about you, Coach. Number one, we were talking before we hit the record button here, and you enlightened me about something I had no clue about. Aside from the fact that you're a pickleball playing fool, explain how you're able to figure out when to go to the park and play pickleball. Because Cap, we could have used this 25 years ago to play pickup hoops.
So I just started playing pickleball this spring. There was some colleagues at work who were like, you got to start playing. You'll love it. So my wife and I, we got paddles, but there's an app called Team Reach, and it has a park in Schenectady on it. So you log in, and I can click on this app whenever I want, and it'll tell me who's down there playing. You can, like, I can sign up for tomorrow and click on it and say, I'll be there tomorrow at 8 a.m. or I'll be there tomorrow at 6 p.m. So you can always show up knowing someone's going to be there. And then everyone just kind of, it's like pick up pickleball. It's awesome.
Cap, I got nothing on that. Like, I mean, because nothing sucked more as a kid than walking down the courts and seeing at most one or two there. And you're like, all right, I guess I'm shooting around and getting my own rebounds until kids show up.
Yeah. I actually think people use this for basketball too. It's probably parks all over the place.
Sure.
Just the park in Schenectady. I think you can link up any park with it.
The nice part about the parks is Waterville, like the Reds Field and Waterville, like that was the main road. So everyone drove down like 4th Ave, and if they saw you, they'd stop and they'd start shooting. So, but
yeah.
The pickleball too, we have sport time, and I don't live far from everybody. I live 2.5 miles from Schalmont too, but like sport time, they've turned that into like a pickleball haven too. So
it's fun. I have fun playing, but one of the guys gave me some really good advice. He goes, "How old are you?" I was like 47. He's like, "Do not play 2 days in a row." That was great advice, because after the first day I played for 2 hours, my wife had to hear me complain about how much my body hurt, my hip flexors and all that stuff. But it's a lot of fun. It's fun to have something to compete in. You know, I'm not going to go down and play 5-on-5 basketball now, but this gives you an outlet to compete.
So, Ari, do you want to provide an audience next time he goes down to the park, or just let it go?
Yeah, that's pickleball is like a big thing at our school. All the kids, like gym class and whatever, like they have like competitions for pickleball. So it's like in sports history, there will be arguments about pickleball all the time.
I'll be upset if pickleball is not an Olympic sport in 2028.
I watched badminton. They have the court in place already. We were talking about it yesterday. The court's already there. It's just different kind of ball.
Exactly.
And a lower net.
Yep.
And different, well, there's a lot different racket.
You got to go in the kitchen, whatever the hell that is.
Oh.
Yeah, the kitchen.
This is how little I know about pickleball. I don't even know. That's the inner area, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The ball's got to bounce for you to step into the kitchen. But if you play it off the air, you can't step into the kitchen. A lot of little details, but
I love Ari. She's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Pickleball's not my thing. Pickleball's definitely not my thing.
She's like, I'm just gonna stick to hoops and soccer. I'm done. What? You need more than just your head? No rackets. No. She works with her hands and her feet. No instruments needed. That's why she's not a softball player. But I hope that didn't strike a nerve there. But okay. So another thing that we discussed quick before we started recording, your usual assistant Joelle has a new addition to the family.
Yep.
Taking care of things. So congrats, Joelle, number one. But now you're bringing on a new assistant. Talk a little bit about this new assistant, and have the players met this guy, and how's he fit in so far?
Yeah, so Dino Tabano is our new program assistant. We don't even call it a varsity assistant. So we go program assistant, so he can kind of jump to modified and help, JV or varsity. He'll be with us most of the time. But Dino's background, he's been coaching the CDYGL for the past 3 years. And what I love about Dino is once he took over the CDYGL team, when they were in like 6th grade, I think, gets a hold of me. And he says, listen, I want to meet up with you, and I want to know what drills you run. I want to know your offensive concepts. I want to run everything that you're running so these kids are ready for you. So right off the rip, I'm like, that's impressive to me that he went out of his way, as a parent in the district who is all about the program. And his daughter's on the team, but he puts the program first, and he wants there to be really good teams. And his daughter, and they're coming into 8th grade. And those kids, they look at 2022 team and think we want to try to get to that level. And our discussions have been, hey, we need to keep building. We need to keep building. So I was just really impressed that he was implementing everything that we would do. And we got to the point where we would talk 2 to 3 times a week about basketball. And he would run his practice plans for the CDYGL through me. So I was really impressed with that. Then I would go watch games. And as I'm watching the games, his demeanor coaching, how he was with the kids, what he was doing during the game with adjustments. I just said, you know what? I'm gonna bring this guy on board if he wants to come on board as a varsity program assistant.
Now, wow. I guess somebody went in the kitchen because I hear a fire alarm of some sort. What's going on?
That's mine. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Carmen
All right.
Fire is going down. They got someone's cat's probably up a tree or something.
Oh boy.
I mean, it is Rotterdam, so that makes sense. Another thing, Coach. I'm not sure if Ari's been privy to seeing or hearing any of this. You have a podcast with the head football coach, Joe Whipple.
Yep.
Called Side of Pancakes, if I remember correctly, is what it's called.
Correct.
First off, where the hell did the name come from, Side of Pancakes? And second of all, how's it been going so far? I know we were talking about StreamYard a little bit, which is, by the way, the service we're using to record all the shows. Thank you very much. How's it been going so far? And how are you enjoying that?
It's going really well. We, Joe and I, we love talking pop culture, but we also throw in, our coaching stuff. But the whole Side of Pancakes thing, we both had a period off together, and Joe was talking about how, I forget what football coach it was that he met at a clinic who started a podcast. And Joe's like, we really should do it. It'd be fun. And then we just started knocking ideas around. And Anchorman, the movie Anchorman, when they say it's the pancake breakfast, we do it every month. We were going to call it the pancake breakfast because of that line, and then kind of use that soundbite, and then one show a month. And then I forget which one of us was like, how about just Side of Pancakes? Because it's just kind of a side thing we're going to do. But then we just keep the pancakes involved in it. And that was it. Nothing too crazy.
Ari, have you been a frequent viewer and have been a frequent listener or viewer of the said program?
I've watched a few with my friends. We've watched a few with the teammates too. For team dinners at his house, we made him turn on an episode one time. That was a fun one. But I've listened to a few of them. And we got to see some kids in school have the merch too, and they wear the shirts.
Yeah, all of a sudden in the hallway, I see kids wearing I'm like, man, they really went on and ordered this stuff. That's pretty funny.
That is funny. Now, I have a question quick, Brad, before you wrap up stuff. But so Ari, obviously your sister, I don't know if she was an athlete or she played basketball at any point, but I know that she was like super into singing and theater and stuff like that. Would you ever switch roles? Like if for one day, would you want to be in the play and then she can go play on the basketball court?
I don't think I've ever. I don't think I've ever switched roles with her. I like my sports. Being on the stage, I don't think I'd be able to do that. I don't think I have to have the confidence to be up there singing like she does.
Yeah, how's your singing voice? Is it compared to hers? Like closer?
Yeah, no, not even. Yeah, I'm not. I can't. Maybe I can rap like Van Hoesen. Maybe I can be a little rapper there. But I cannot sing. I cannot sing anything.
Oh, Ari, you should get in the entertainment business because that's a tremendous transition. Because I'd be remiss if I didn't at least come up with something to share with the crowd. What can we do?
Jay, you Def Leppard. Take notes, I deliver lectures. You should probably sit this one out. You're looking weathered. Jackpot when I pull the lever. Yeah, don't be mad because I'm still clever. You're sleeping on me, but I'm simply better.
All right. I gotta stop it there because now I need to actually. I have to ask, where was Eminem the inspiration? Was it Mac Miller? Was it Macklemore? When did this start? How did this start?
Well,
where are we going with this?
We were doing music. My buddy Tim and I, we were doing music before Eminem even came out. And I remember specifically, I always tell this story. I was in college. I was going to my job I had in college, and I heard My Name Is, and I was just like, man, this guy beat us completely to the punch. He's unbelievable. But right off the riff, I had to get the album or CD and listen. But man, I'm an old guy. I've been doing this for 27 years now. Long time.
The beat is actually very Eminem like.
That that does kind of have a little bit. That makes me feel good because I made that beat and I love Dr. Dre's beats, and I don't know what he does to his beats, but he won't tell anybody. He's got like this secret recipe that when he produces. So I'll take that as a huge compliment because Dr. Dre's production is unbelievable.
Ari, is anybody playing this down the hallways at Schalmont every day? Like,
actually, in sports history, these two kids, they make songs. They shared their beats with Van Hoesen. Actually, our team, when we would transition to free throws, we made up a song and we wanted to record it in Van Hoesen's studio. So we never got the chance to do it, but we did make up a song and we wanted to record it.
Listen, one of the funniest moments I think I've had in my coaching career is we're at Albany Academy, play Coach Cap's group, and I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I hear this song come on and I'm like, that's familiar. I'm like, oh, that's my song. And I look behind me and he's cracking up. He's like, I had to play your song, man, during warm-ups. That's good stuff.
Oh, Cap! I expect you to put that in the playlist for this coming season.
We were the host of them, so they played before us. So there was a little bit like, hey, they warm up to this, Schalmont. So
yeah, that was sectionals. Yep.
Oh, goodness gracious! Did the kids crack up when they heard it?
I don't even know if the kids
knew. They were locked in. It was funny to watch him too. It was funny to watch him because he kind of turned his head to the side like a dog when you have like a treat and stuff. Then he kind of like slowly like turned around like it was great.
It's when it's out of context, like the worlds clash or they clash and you're like, wait a minute, is that my song playing at one of our basketball games?
Hi, okay. All right. So, all right. I got a couple of things left here. Number one, I'm going to show a couple of pictures. Both of you can jump in with your thoughts when you see them. Let's see here. Where should I start? Yeah, actually, this one I specifically want to ask Ari about. These preconceived pictures. I know it's become like a thing, like with teams, and fine, whatever. Like it's a big college thing to do. What was photo day like for that? Like, was that like who was coming up with the poses? Was it the photographers? Was it coach? Was it you? Like, what was going on with that?
We had this planned out for a few weeks. So we all got to pick our own poses that we wanted to do that day, and it was a fun media day. Let's say it was fun. It was really fun. It was one of our friends. He does it. He's a really great photographer. He did it, so it was fun to do it with him. He sits at my lunch table, so I talked about it with him literally all day. So just picking out the poses was really fun too.
And then this is another one. Yeah, you and Carissa. There's that one. By the way, I little inside baseball. Uh, who's the louder one, Carissa or Isaiah?
I'm gonna say Carissa.
Yeah, Carissa, I think.
Okay.
When they're together, whole different.
Okay. Because that's a lot of volume in two, but that's
Positive volume though. It's good volume, and we're gonna miss those guys in the hallways for sure.
For sure.
I'm trying to remember Isaiah coming to Utica, I think, for basketball. I think.
I think he's
Yeah,
going to Utica.
Oh, Empire 8, they're in for it now. Oh boy, Russell Sage, be careful, be careful. Saw this kid last year. Be careful.
Yep.
Coach, I'm gonna get mushy for a second here on you. Sorry. Yeah. Hi. I know that you've mentioned her a few times. I know.
Yep.
You got through COVID together, pushing back a wedding together. Like, yeah, she's all right, I guess.
Yeah, she'll do.
She's tolerating you and tolerating the basketball coach's life, so whatever.
What I love is if the kids see Raquel and I somewhere, Ari will run right past me and hug Raquel. But that's a great, basketball wife. She's, she loves when we have the team dinners here, and the kids absolutely love her, and she's part of the program. And, I feel like the kids completely embrace her and love her too. So.
And then for both of you, man, I got two of them. Pick A or B, Coach. Say A or B.
Okay.
A or B. Pick one.
A.
I have to pull that one up. I feel like I'd be, since we mentioned the team so much, it'd be stupid. Man, Ari.
Little kid. She's a little kid.
Yeah. Right? Man.
Yep.
Totally different person.
Yeah.
What I mean, let's see. By the way, for those of you who need context, for those who have been named here, if you're watching on YouTube, so Carissa, I mean, she's easy to point out. She's the tallest one on the floor, basically, right in the middle. Peyton Graber's the one directly next to Coach with the MVP plaque there. Yep. Haley Burchart's the one in the middle of the five kneeling down. Yep. And then to her left, our right, that's Sienna Hallberg.
Yep.
That we've been talking about. And then, oh my, is that Gianna next to Sienna?
Yeah. She's looking good too.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was there's no way that was 2.5 years ago.
I know.
Crazy, right?
It feels like yesterday. I'm like, I'm going to my junior year. Like, I'm like, Jesus, I was just an 8th grader.
That's what everybody's thinking about you having a permit. Oh my God, she's driving? No.
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 Listen, unless she takes a really wrong turn, she's not ending up in Amsterdam. So,
hey,
if she takes a right instead of a left, she's going to be in front of my house. So.
Listen. My father had a GPS on, and he lives in Gilderland. He was instructed to come to my house in Amsterdam. I don't know how he ends up on 88 going to Oneana.
Soccer Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He
wanted some Brooks barbecue. He wanted, I guess.
That's it.
I don't know. Last thing I want to bring up. Actually, there's two things. I'm sorry. I keep saying it's the last thing. It's not. First, Ari, I'm going to read a quote. I want you to tell me who said this quote about you. Are you ready?
Oh God. Okay, I'm ready.
Quote. Ari quickly became one of my favorite players I've ever gotten to know or coach. She's a 3-level scorer who is an incredible on-the-ball defender. All skills aside, Ari is a phenomenal teammate and always does the intangibles. She always has a smile on her face and will run through the wall for her coach and teammates. Lastly, a spin move to die for. Who said that quote? And no, it's not Coach.
Who said the quote? Was it Shelby?
Love that girl to death. Yes, it was Shelby Preston. Your coach.
I love Shelby.
Yes, are.
Funny. Our next episode is going to be 2 of her players from Cobleskill who are also from Section 2, Taylor Meacham and Logan Thane. But I reached out to her before the show, And she was like, "Oh my God, I have to talk to you about it." I'm like, "Sure, go ahead. I'm not gonna stop you." She's a character and a half, though. I love her to death. Talk about Shelby real quick.
This year, obviously it was a change for an AAU program. Didn't know who my coach was gonna be, and Shelby happened to be my coach, and she just brings the energy for us. This team was very fun. Like she was a fun coach. There was very few times that like she really had to yell at us. Like she really was a big mentor for me this year, and I love Shelby. I really do. I love her as a coach. I love her as a person. She was my hype person this year. She was very she was my hype person.
She does like being the hype person. I can tell you that from watching on the sidelines at Cobleskill. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, me, Caden, my teammate Caden, Lila, we all would joke around with her all the time. So it was good. It was fun.
But don't let that good nature about her fool you, because when she played at Kobe, like we talk about Haley being fierce. Oh, I've seen the tape. Yeah, that Ravina comes out in her when she's on the court. All right. Last thing. This is for both of you. A little section I like to call life's most important questions. I'm going to give you a quick question. Give me the first answer that comes to mind. Okay. Here we go. First question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna have to. Both of you give your arguments.
Well,
Pretend it's sports history class.
I gotta go. This interview's over.
Are you upset with me, Brian?
No, he's upset with Ari.
How is a hot dog not a sandwich? Isn't it
man.
Sandwich is lunch meat.
But there's okay. You know what? We could argue about this another day because
we don't have another. Do you have an hour? Do you have an hour, Brian?
Bring that argument to the first day of sports history class. How about that?
Yeah, I know,
right. Ballpark hot dogs.
The history of the hot dog.
Oh boy, we're gonna hold.
A sandwich closes. A hot dog closes too. It goes like.
To me, a sandwich is lunch meat.
First day of school, Coach Van Hoesen hands out the syllabus and does a half hour on Nathan's.
We may have to. We may have to.
All right. When it comes to sweets, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Thank you. What goes in the bowl first, the cereal or the milk?
The cereal.
In the vault?
In the bowl. What goes in the bowl
I was like,
first?
the vault. I was like, the milk's going to go bad in the vault. The cereal.
Okay. Because I have a psychotic friend who says the milk goes first, and I got nothing for that.
Wow.
I don't know if you're officially sponsored by either, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Gatorade or Powerade?
Gatorade.
Okay. Last thing. You're on a deserted island. You need two people that will help you get off the island. Who are the two people you're picking?
Go ahead, Ari.
Okay. I'm bringing one of my best friends, Ava McDonald.
Okay.
And probably I would say maybe my cousin Izzy.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Okay. All right.
Leave your parents? No, you don't want any parents there?
No. I don't. I would get too mad and I just probably walk off or try to just no.
Oh, but your mother can make something so beautiful out there for you.
Yeah, chicken parmesan of fish that you catch or something.
Yeah, right. Right.
Ooh.
I'd have to go. My best friend Tim, who I do music with.
Mm-hmm.
Tim's like, you could throw Tim on like one of those Survivor shows, and he would just figure it out. He's just kind of savvy with that kind of stuff. And if I had him there, I may not even need a second person because he's that crazy with that stuff.
All right. So, divorce papers in the mail. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. That's all. Cap, you have anything else?
No, it was great.
All right. Coach, Ari, it's been
Appreciate
real. It's been
you guys.
fun. It's been real fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, good health, Ari.
Yeah.
Because you're a two-sport athlete. That's psychotic, but good luck with that.
Thank you.
Coach, good luck this season. And I do have one last thing, Coach. Any? Because I know you played in it I think it was 2 years ago. Any thoughts of coming back to Amsterdam for Christmas break?
We are. I don't think we have anything. I think we have something scheduled right before Christmas, like the 23rd. I think we play Scotia. But
He was smart. He went to Florida for Christmas because I saw him at Stewart's like a day before. He's like, "We're going to Florida." I was like, "You're the smartest guy out here."
My wife was like, "Listen, we always have Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, February break where it's shut down." I go, "All right, this year," I was like, "It's fine. We'll go to Universal Studios. We'll fly to Orlando." It felt awkward. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I basically told her after, I'm like, "We can't do that again." I felt really weird. Even if we had 2 practices,
Sure.
it felt bizarre to be in Florida for Christmas. But we did it.
Oh, I thought the comment was going to be it felt awkward because it was just 2 grown adults walking around a theme park meant for kids. Oh, this is kind of weird.
Listen, my wife was all about going to the Harry Potter world. She's like, "We got to go." And it was pretty cool. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I'm a Star Wars guy. But the Harry Potter stuff was impressive.
Listen, I don't think there's anything much weirder in life than those adults who are Disney lifers and consistently go to Disney every single year, even if they don't have kids with them. Like,
I mean, I'd go if I had a season pass, but
it's so expensive. I have family members who go every single year. They have kids, but they go every single year. We're like, let's just go. We did Disney one year, did Universal, but our main spot that we've been to, I think 4 times now, is Las Vegas. That's our hub. Or, going to Cape Cod, obviously, at the end of the summer, but we love Las Vegas.
Vegas, now you're talking. Now you're talking. That's my man. Now we're talking.
The one year, I'll give you this before we go. Years ago, this is years ago, I go to Vegas, and Team USA is playing. And it was when Kobe and LeBron were on the team. And I'm like, we got to go watch this game. So we go. There's barely anybody there. It's Team USA versus Team Mexico. And LeBron and Kobe, it was just insane to see how much faster and better they were than the other players on Team USA. It was like head and shoulders, their first step, the way they played. It was completely insane to witness that close up.
Not how I would have spent my time in Vegas, but okay, that's fine.
Listen, man, I saw on the bottom line, Team USA's playing. I'm like, we got to go watch this game.
No, you're right. I mean,
Team USA's on right now. I don't know the score, but they are on right now.
Are they?
Cap, you're killing me. You're killing me. All right. Go. We've taken up your time. Coach Van Hoesen, Arianna Brandon, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Goodbye. Enjoy your
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Oh man. They were fun. They were a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. I do want to bring up one quick thing before we wrap up this there's some news coming out of Elevate as AAU season just wrapped up. You've got a kid who has committed. Brenna has committed to Assumption. Yep. And your academy girl, Alex Leonard, got an offer from UNH. So, it seems like AAU. I know you also mentioned Alex has a visit coming up. So, some things are looking up indeed for the girls out of the Elevate program.
Yeah, no, good stuff. They had a good July, and it's always a long trip and a lot of games that you got to play at once. But everyone made it through pretty healthy, and this weekend I didn't watch any of our games, but this past weekend at the event that Joe Murphy put on, everyone had rave reviews about the Battle of New York, and the winner out of like the top group bracket was Albertus, who won last year. They beat Colony in the final, but so now I think everyone's kind of slowing down from basketball, and then Jeff Maliner, his summer league starts up soon, so it's really good that we have year-round basketball in the Capital Region now, which didn't exist even 5-6 years ago. So
Jeff. the guy who recommended you to be my co-host. So I have him to thank for this madness. All right, because that transitions into the one other thing you wanted me to bring up. So New York State. So we get boys. We get all state teams for the boys within like 30 to 45 days of the state tournament ending. But we can't get Jack for 5 months after the girls' state tournament ends. What are we doing here? Like, what's the problem here?
The only thing was a tweet. That was the last thing I think in June. Just said
we're working on it. Basically,
working on it. I mean, not that it means a ton to coaches or anything like that, but I think it means a lot to players, like it, and to resumes, right? Like you could say, "Hey, I was an all-state player as a senior. I was an all-state player as a junior." Like it, I think it means something in terms of that stuff. But again, they're volunteers for the most part that are writing those lists. But you would think that you'd get one person from kind of every section and say, "Here's my top 20 players." I don't know how hard that would be, but clearly it's not. It can't be too simple.
And it's not like we're talking about this in April. Like that's one thing. Okay,
right.
Fine. It's been a few weeks since the tournament. I get it if you got other stuff going on. Spring sports have come and gone. We're 2 months past when spring sports ended. What the hell are we waiting for?
Yep.
Are you that busy with your summer vacation that you can't spend a couple hours on a laptop looking through all your box scores and your articles going, oh, these are the top 20 players from my set. Like, come on. What are we doing?
Would just figure you'd take the first team players from all the different leagues that are Section 2, take all the first team players from Section 3, 4, 5, 6, and mash them together and say, here's because we don't have we don't have a state MVP, which is nuts. Like we don't have a player of the year. For at least for that, like state player of the year. There's obviously Gatorade players a year and stuff like that, but
you're asking for common sense, Cap. Common sense doesn't exist in New York State.
It's not easy. I get it. It's probably not an easy thing to put together, but you would think there'd be someone that would take the lead from a couple sections.
I think I would break your heart by telling you who would be the Class B MVP. I think you know who I'm going to say.
Yeah, Trinkus.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to say that.
We may get a rematch, though. So we're going out to their tournament in January.
Let's go.
That happens. You could get a rematch on a Sunday in the middle of January.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. No, I'm not flipping off the camera. These are my fingers being crossed. All right. That does it for episode 19. We went long. Don't care. Love the show. Thanks again to Jeff Van Hoesen and Arianna Brandon from Schalmont. Great time as usual. Cap, go check that men's basketball score. And I'll end the show by saying this. Section 2, Utica Notre Dame. Be very, very careful with Morgan VM this year. We've talked about it. You know what I mean by that, Cap. Morgan's a very, very dangerous girl. Don't mess with her. She's gonna be a capo out there. If you know what that is, go look it up. That said, Coach, adios.
Go look it up too.
Right. Goodbye.
Bye.